was like, Milan was the brightest kid people will ever meet. He was very smart and intelligent. He always sensed people's emotions and feelings like from the jump. So he knew how to respond to people and their emotions and feelings and to brighten their moods and their spirits. So he'll make jokes. He'll joke around and laugh and play around with other, kids and everything, just to make sure that everybody else felt comfortable with him and was in a good mood with him. He was very bubbly. His laugh was contagious. So if he laughed, you laughed. I mean, like he was smart. He didn't like school, but he loved school at the same time. And I knew that he had a great passion for what he wanted in life. And I knew that over time he was gonna find that passion. He was a tall kid. At 10 years old, he was already towards my chest and my shoulders. So I knew that he was gonna be good in sports. He was gonna be good in school, and he had a great future for himself. He was very loving. He loved my mom to death. He loved all of us to death. So I knew that he would have did anything for us growing up and make sure that we had what we wanted from him growing up. Because my mom and him, they had this connection that was, you know, unbelievable, that nobody really could even match. Even my connection with her and Malik's connection with her was never on their connection. And I guess it goes to where what they went throughout life with him going through cancer and everything. It bonded them to a whole different, just a whole different set that people couldn't imagine. And I think it was that, and then him being her last son, her last child, and everything at her age, which was like 32. I think that really made them like unbreakable. And yeah, I think he was just a very soulful child that most people don't understand or wouldn't see in most children. So yeah. Milan was diagnosed with a type of brain cancer called it was neuroblastoma, if I'm not mistaken, and it was a rare cancer in children's brains. It was a children's cancer, and it was like 5% that lived, and he was one of the few percent that lived, and he went into remission in 2016, and everything was fine for 2 years, and he went into another MRI, and they found that he had tumors on his brain again, and that they were basically saying that there was nothing that they could do, but they could try to do chemo to see what happened and radiation. But Milan was not sat on that. He cried and cried because he did not want to go through that again. So my mom ultimately just decided to um, try to do like a home kind of remedy with like oils and everything, just to see if anything will happen. And over time, nothing really changed. So they said that it's now or never with the treatments. And so my mom was getting the treatments ready, and they were getting ready to go to St. Jude's in Tennessee. And there was a day where he just had a brain hemorrhage on his brain. And he came through the door and he was panicking, crying, screaming out that he was hot and he was shaking. He had to throw up. He couldn't feel his feet. And um, he had a hemorrhage on his brain. He passed out and ultimately died from cardiac arrest while in the hospital. And that's what happened. After Milan passed away, it was hard because she was alone. I came back to school and Malik left for school. So she was in the apartment by herself for a while until Malik ended up moving back after COVID happened. Malik ended up moving back in with her, and it kind of made her feel better a little bit. But for my mom, it was very hard for her to actually cope with it. Now I never, she went through therapy and everything. I still don't think she even moved through the grieving process. I think she was still at the beginning stages because it was just that hard for her to even cope with the passing. Not a day went by when she didn't post him or talk to me about him or anything like that, or cry to me. It was many nights when she cried to me about him, and I don't think she took it any lighter than from when he first passed away over the course of the years. For me, it was hard because Milan was my best friend. Basically, like he was the closest person to me. We did everything together. We watched TV together, watched movies, watched wrestling, ordered food. The day that everything happened with him, we were supposed to bake the cake and watch Disney movies. And right before everything, right, that was right when everything happened. And even to this day, that still weighs heavily on me. And I even still have the cake mix the cake icing in the little bin because it always had women that was supposed to do that day. Um, and Malik, it always heavy on Malik because Malik and Milan had a love hate relationship where they always bicker back and forth, but they know that they love each other. So it was um it was always back and forth. But I know that they love each other, and I know that it still affects them to this day that he's not here. I know that he misses them very much too still. So yeah, my mom was a very uh God driven woman. If you knew my mom, you knew that she was very religious and she stayed prayed up and she will pray for you at any given moment in time. You could be in the parking lot, you could be in bed, you could be in the middle of the store. She will pray for you right then and there. She was very driven for her goals. She was she was finishing her goals throughout her life, even, as she grew older, she was still finishing. She, did her hair school and she was in the middle of finishing actual like college and everything. She was very goal driven, very high spirited, and you know, um, she was never too uptight, never too, never mean. You never got into it with my mom. You never saw her being mean to anyone, unless you were being mean to one of her children or a family member, or anything like that. That was when she would, she was respectable of everybody, and uh, I don't know. My mom to me meant everything. She was number one woman in my life, and still is. So she always took care of me. She always nurtured me. She always was there for me. I think she always said at the end of our faith, we called every day, every week, based on every day, either every other day. And we always text her every day. Every time I wake up, she'll say, "Good morning, son," or "Hey son, how are you?" And, and that right there made me know, and it made me feel loved. I knew that she always thought about me and cared for me. And I know that she would do anything in the world for me. So, I know that she's still looking over me due to that reason. And I know that she will continue to, and that I'm gonna do everything I can in her honor for her life. But like her love will be unmatched to myself. For a lot of people, I don't think a lot of people will be able to match up to the love that she was able to give me in my life. The timing of her death, she was diagnosed with, I don't remember the name, but she had very bad heart problems in 2020. It was around October 2020. She was diagnosed with heart arrhythmia and heart disease, and she was taking medicines for it and everything like that. And over time, I don't think that got any better. But not only that, I don't think the grief got any better, and I think that the grief weighed down on her heart and her heart heavily. It weighed down on how she felt about the situation, and I don't think she never got over what happened, or not got over. 'Cause I don't think we'll ever get over it, but like I don't think it just got any better for her. The grief and the processing of the grief never got any better for her. So I think that over time it weighed down on her, and in July, I think when she went into cardiac arrest, I think it was due to everything that she was going through already from herself and the heart disease and also the grief. And I think that's what led to her going into cardiac arrest.